Oh my God, this speed tour in Africa has been amazing.
Bro, that whole iShowSpeed like live stream in Africa damn near made me want to fucking cry. You're so fucking cool, man. I see why they took our ass down there. Like, we are so fucking cool. That shit is like, this is what y'all took from us. I'm so mad. So many people that look like me. I'm so mad. I can't go back. Oh, but we are so fucking cool. I'm jealous.
Man, this whole time, bro, they made us fucking think Africa was such a poor country, bro. Such a place you wouldn't want to be at, bro. And Speed is single-handedly changing my perspective on life. Like the music in Africa, the culture, everything, every single aspect of Africa just makes my insides feel so good, bro. And it makes me just want to leave America. Bro, I feel like America is the trap.
Y'all probably wondering why I'm crying. I've been watching Speed streams, and I'm seeing all the love that he's getting in Angola. He's in South Africa, and he's getting massive amount of love, and the way that he was treated in Europe was disgusting. But to see him be a black man from the United States of African descent and be able to go back to the continent and be treated like a human by civilized African people, when we've been taught that Africa is primitive, that it's dangerous, don't go back, they have this, they have that, they don't want you, they don't like you. And to see an African American man with his stature go back to the motherland and be treated with so much respect. This is what our people fought for. This is what they fought for when they fought against Jim Crow and segregation. This is what the slave revolts were about. This is what it's always been about. It's to be able to go back home to a home that you've never been and be unapologetically black.
Bro, Speed really changing the game for real. Like, I didn't know Africa was such a beautiful country. They got cars, they got water, they got Wi-Fi. Like, we was lied to. We was really lied to. The music in Africa is just so beautiful. I used to think the only song in Africa was Waka Waka by Shakira. Come to find out, they got Davido. The U.S. government really brainwashed us, bro. We need to go back to our brothers and sisters. Like, I really thought everybody in Africa speaks like this. And the best part of all, hear me out. You're not going to believe this. They got more than one country. No, I'm not kidding. They got more. I thought it was just Africa. I really thought it was just Africa. I'm like, don't cancel me for this, but I low-key thought they live in huts. Like, you know, that's just what they teaches us. Like,
Speed's Africa tour is kind of scaring me right now because the amount of people admitting that they didn't realize that Africa wasn't just like sticks and mud. That, like, you know, Africa actually has, you know, modern technology and roads and running water and all that type of stuff. And then that Africa is a continent, you know, not a country. I've seen clips of Speed's tour, and like, I love it because every place he goes, he kind of rewrites like the stereotype or the image that people have in their head, and he shows that, hey, like, this is a normal place. But especially with Africa, some of y'all I genuinely like worry about, because even when people who are like, oh, but you know, the American propaganda makes you think that Africa is just like nothing and extremely all this. Guys, can you do a little bit of research and maybe just like a little bit of logical thinking? Like, do you really think an entire continent would just be sticks and mud and tribal people? If you just look up Africa City, you will see so many cities that look just like ours, with skyscrapers, big buildings, roads, infrastructure, all that type of stuff.
Speed is on a tour of Africa. Many youth are learning for the first time that the continent is more than baboons and mud huts. American education is so fucked, bro. These niggas will teach you that this guy built the pyramids, King Channing Tatum. And the rest of Africa is just savages and loincloths. And then they develop false sciences, see eugenics, to create biological proof of inferiority. It hurts my heart. But it's a necessary part of the thievery of our gold and our diamonds, to convince the world that we are inferior. Speed actually tried to purchase a diamond in Botswana, to which they replied that they're only allowed to sell their own diamonds to De Beers, the British mega corporation founded by Cecil Rhodes, who literally stole the land and the mines through murder and slavery, and still to this day has scholarships named after him, Rhodes Scholarships. Heard of that?
Family, as iShowSpeed moved through African cities, something subtle but powerful happened in real time. Beyond the jokes, the chaos, and the live stream energy, Black Americans watching from home began to feel something stir. That was confusion, that was joy, grief, curiosity, and even envy. And for many, family, it wasn't just about Africa as a place, but about what it symbolized. Watching a young Black American exist freely in an space where blackness is the default triggered a realization that's hard to put into words unless you've lived the Black American experience. And in the United States, family, blackness is constantly negotiated. It's questioned, policed, stereotyped, and placed under a microscope. And there is always an invisible audience demanding justification, why you speak the way you do, why you dress a certain way, why you react the way you react. But in those African moments, there was no performance of blackness, and that there was simply being. What hit Black Americans emotionally wasn't the idea of Africa being perfect or romanticized. It was the absence of racial tension as the defining feature of daily life, and seeing speed blend into crowds without being reduced to a racial narrative disrupted something deeply imagined. And family, for Black Americans whose identities were forged under systems that constantly remind them they are other, witnessing an unapologetic Black existence felt both healing and painful at the same time. Healing because it showed that what is possible. Painful because it highlighted what has been stolen, ease, belonging, and the freedom to exist without racial self-consciousness. And many Black Americans grow up with Africa as an abstract concept, either distant, misunderstood, or filtered through trauma narratives like slavery, poverty, or war. Rarely is Africa presented as a living, breathing home where blackness isn't politicized. And so when Speed laughed freely, spoke loudly, made mistakes, and was still embraced, it cracked open a truth. Black Americans are not disconnected from blackness itself, but from environments that allow it to be whole. The realization can feel destabilizing. It forces questions because people aren't always ready to ask, who am I outside of whiteness? Who am I without survival mode? Who am I when blackness doesn't require resistance? Now, this is why some reactions were emotional, defensive, or even dismissive. When identity has been shaped by struggle, peace can feel unfamiliar. Some Black Americans felt pride watching Africa receive one of their own. Others felt grief realizing how much of their lives have been spent navigating racial hostility. And some felt anger, not at Africa, not at Speed, but at a system that made an apologetic Black existence feel like a foreign experience. And that tension is real, and it deserves honesty, not shame. What this moment revealed is not a call for Black Americans to abandon their roots, to relocate and Marseille. It revealed a hunger for connection, for redefinition, for spaces where blackness is not constantly in conversation with oppression. And so iShowSpeed didn't plan to spark a cultural reckoning, but his presence did what academia, politics, and social media debates often fail to do. It showed instead of told, and sometimes seeing is enough to awaken questions that have been buried for generations. And family, this isn't about Africa versus America. It's about choice, awareness, and emotional truth. And so Black Americans are allowed to grieve what they never had while honoring what they've really survived. They're allowed to be curious about Africa without romanticizing it. And they're allowed to imagine a future where Black identity isn't defined by pain alone. And if anything, family, this moment reminded us that blackness is not monolithic, but it is expansive, and somewhere between continents, histories, and lived experiences, many Black Americans are realizing for the first time that being Black doesn't always have to be heavy. Sometimes it can simply be human.